Do you want more? More time, more balance, more love, more sex, more money, more real, and less bullshit? This is the Women Wanting More podcast with Dr. Karen Osborne. Real life, real stories, plus real tips to get you more of what you want.
All right, sister. Let's talk about finding flow. Today, it is snowing in Victoria, where I live. And it's so funny. People talk about Canadian winters. Victoria, which is on what's considered Vancouver Island, which I know it sounds super confusing, but it's not Vancouver. It's Vancouver Island, where Victoria is, and some other cities as well. I always kind of say we don't get snow, but what that really means is we might get a couple snowfalls a year. And I know that, so we've been here for 3.5 years, and there's been some people who've grown up on the island and said, like, hey, there's been some winters with zero snow, right? So it's just like, we don't really get cold temperatures. Right now it's -3 Celsius. That's like really chilly. Average daytime temperatures in the winter months are like about like +6, +7 Celsius. So for all my American friends, because that's most of you listen to the podcast, that would be like in, say, like 40s, maybe early 50s Fahrenheit. Okay, so like not really cold, not for winter. Certainly not for being north here with Canadian winters, but we do get snowfalls sometimes. And today, we had some snow. Started last night, and it was falling really fast. I was like, oh shit. Because what also happens out here, and the snow is fine and lovely. I've grown up most of my life and lived most of my life in where it's kind of regular, quote unquote, winters, which is we have snow. Lived in Alberta for 14 years where we had really, really long winters. And it's nice. It's lovely having the snow. But here's how this works out in Victoria. Because snow is such a rarity, there's no snow removal. Like, there's no plows. People don't really shovel, and, you'll have businesses that'll maybe put, like, salt down, right, to make sure people don't slip on the sidewalks, or outside of their doorsteps with their business. But other than that, people don't really, because there's no need for the city to have plows, because it's such a rare thing to get snow. When we do get snow, it just kind of starts to melt. So like already the roads are totally fine. But what often happens is that snow days, meaning that school is closed, happens pretty easily if there is snow. And so the snow was falling. I went to bed last night, and there was quite a bit of snow, and I was like, shit, there's going to be a snow day, right? And so by 6:30 in the morning, they'll have an email out if it is a snow day, or you can go to the school district website and they'll have an announcement about it, right? Kind of in the morning. They make the call by 6:30 in the morning, whether it's a snow day or not. And so I automatically, this is now our 4th winter here, of being like, well, I've experienced what happens with just a little bit of snow, where at first I would be like, what? This isn't really a lot of snow. Why are we closing the schools? Like, I grew up in cities, when I grew up in Ottawa, in Ontario, and we would get quite a bit of snow. And so I lived there from 8 until I graduated from high school. And so I can literally think, now, I'm sure my memory's not quite, exactly all detailed at 50 now from where I was from 8 to 18 years old, but I don't remember many snow days. Like, it just didn't happen because we had plows and because that was just the way that the winters went, right? So you had to go with it. Well, here, because they don't have that, and people don't have snow tires, they might have all seasons, but that's about it for the most part. It's just the roads get really tricky, right? And there's definitely some areas that are quite hilly, and so it's just, the city kind of shuts down, right? And so when I went to bed last night and then woke up this morning and I saw even more snow, and I went, okay, it's probably going to be a snow day. And how am I going to arrange that? And what things can I do, because it's a Monday as I record this, what can I do so that I can still get in work I need to get to, but I just kind of like flow with it. Like just allow flow, be the flow, go with the flow. Because here's what happens, right? When things don't go according to the plan, quote unquote, that we had for the day or for our life, it is a very common thing that we resist it and we wish it wasn't. But the thing is that it is. Byron Katie, who I've talked about a gajillion times on the podcast, who wrote a life-changing book called Loving What Is. It talks about her work, which is called The Inquiry or The Work. And, we don't really take time to question our thoughts, but here's the deal, what she talks about. And one of the things that Byron Katie says is this. We fight against, is it Byron Katie who said this? There's a couple things, and I'm going to paraphrase then here. So suffering is a result of not accepting reality, number one. And number two is when we fight against reality, we always lose. Right? Where it's like, oh, I wish it wasn't snowing. Oh, if the kids were home. Oh, I wish they were at school today. Well, the thing is that they're not. If it was a snow day, which it's not, thankful for that. Thank you, universe, more please. But if I was to push against it, it's like, I lose. It doesn't change. There would still have been a snow day, right? The only thing that I have the control over is how I choose to perceive any situation in life. Potential snow day and kids home from school or not. That's the only thing I have any control over ever. That's the only thing that you ever have any control over ever. So why does it seem like some people can have the world crumbling down around them or have all sorts of shit go down? And it's not like it's not difficult and painful. Maybe they were going through grief. Maybe they've going through some significant health challenge. But yet there's some that at some point, and it's not necessarily right away, and they're not denying the challenge that's in front of them, but they're choosing to see it in a different light than most would. And it doesn't make them some kind of superstar or, enlightened or spiritually evolved. I mean, yes. And the challenge is when we do that, we put these people up on a pedestal and we go, well, that can't be me. That's just them. And with so much love, sister, with so much love, brother, that's just not true. That is an absolute story. It's not true. We can choose to perceive it however we want to. And it's easy to be in flow, right? When everything's kind of like going. And you know what that's like. Everyone has experienced this. So I don't care, where you are in your life right now. If you're very closed off to opening, just open up, open up, open up. Let me backphrase. I don't like that I just said, I don't care where you are. That's not what I meant. What I meant is that just step outside of yourself right now and just go, wait a second. There's been moments where it's like, wow, things just flow. It could have been an hour of your time. It could have been a year, and anywhere in between that. But there was this flow to it, right? Where things just seem to be lining up. And you might have been like, oh, I was just lucky, or that's just things just, no. I'm going to have you, again, open up to the possibility. Just receive this, that the way that we choose to see our life, our world, our experience is everything. So, we all live in this same world, right? So let's say, whatever country that you live in, whatever's happening politically, whatever, just awful thing that's happening in the world, Australia's burning to the ground, all sorts of stuff where we just go, oh my gosh, this is horrible. How do I reframe that? How do I choose to see this in a certain light, right? And it's hard when it's those types of things. Or I lost my dad 4 months ago. Of course I could take a look at that and say, well, he had just turned 82. He was not a healthy man. His health had been deteriorating. He had a head injury when he was 54 years old and dodged a bullet on that and jumped out of a coma and surprised everybody, all the medical professionals that thought he would never be anything more than, without, this is a very crude word that was used back in the 90s, but like a vegetable, right? He won't have any kind of a function quality of life. And we said, fuck you very much. Our family sees health differently and healing differently, and bye-bye. And we just did not choose to believe that experience and that outcome. And so, yeah, I could just take a look at my dad's passing and say, well, it was time. And, what quality life is a man who was in a diaper and couldn't walk anymore and just had almost no energy, would just sleep a lot of the day. It was time for him, right? It's still painful to lose my father, of course. But how we choose to see things are everything. It's everything. And flow is going to happen when we choose to see things. It's like, we know this, but then I want you just to really let this kind of simmer and marinate. I love using the word marinate. Let this one just kind of simmer, marinate, percolate. All sorts of cooking analogies. I don't know why. Let it soak in. Let it seep. That the way that we perceive the world, the only thing, here's what I want you to seep in. I had to find my way back for a second. Now I know what I'm going to say. If you ever find me at times that I go off on these tangents, or I'm looking for the story back. Okay, here's what this is. The biggest thing that is ever in the way of flow is us. We are the ones who are in the way. It's us. It's easy to point the finger and go, it's that person. It's the snowy day today. It's this person did this in my business or with work. It's this thing in my relationship, in my marriage, and my partnership. It's this thing with my children doing that to me. It's this thing with my mom, my dad, it goes on and on and on, right? But if we really take a look back, right? If we can pan back and say, let me just notice myself in the story that is my life. Like I'm watching a movie or something, right? And we just kind of just step outside of ourselves, which is difficult. It's not easy to do this at all. And I'm not an expert at it, but if you kind of look back and you're just open to hearing this right now, which you're still listening, so I'm going to assume that you are, is that the common denominator of everything in our life is that we're in it, right? The one thing that's present in every single experience is us. So we can choose to keep pointing the finger, giving our power away. When you point the finger, your power just leaks away from you. Or we can say, man, what is my responsibility in this experience, in this situation, in this conversation, in this relationship, in this business, in this family, in this community? What is my role to play in this? Not from a point of blame, but just to go, okay, I own that. This is my piece in it. I'm responsible. And that's a very, very tough pill to swallow. Because most of our world is just looking outside of ourselves. So it's very natural and normal. Don't beat yourself up if this is kind of, having a little bit of a, oh my God, my mind's imploding, holy shit, maybe this is, the first time it's really landing, or you're really hearing it where you're like, oh, dag nabbit, it is me. And here's what ego's going to want to do with you right now, /fear. It's going to want to beat the crap out of yourself. And please don't do that. Please don't do that. I want you just to see yourself as just the little child that you were. And the same way when your child screws up or makes a mistake or does, chooses actions or words which are not okay, that you would most likely in your, we'll just say your better parenting moments, because we all have moments. Oh my gosh. Give yourself grace when you have a parenting moment. But if that was happening with your child, again, in your quote-unquote better parenting moments, in clarity, when you were calm and grounded in those moments, you would not beat that child up. And I don't mean physically, that suddenly went very wrong direction, but you know what I mean? You wouldn't verbally insult them. You wouldn't say the things to your child that you do to yourself. I just know that you don't and you wouldn't. And so why are you saying those things to yourself? Please don't do that. If this again has come at some epiphany, some revelation, some oh, dang, it's me. It's not like other people that seem to have a horseshoe up their ass. I'm the one that's blocking my flow. I'm the one who's the common denominator in all these situations. It's up to me. And here's how you can flip this switch, okay? This is where it's really exciting. I talked about this in a recent podcast episode. You could choose the path of, oh my God, it's me. I keep talking about all these things I want, but I'm the one who's in my way. Okay? You can cognitively know that. You can it can really land inside of you where it's it's outside of cerebral, right? Because it's one thing to kind of nod your head and go, oh yeah, that makes sense. it's another thing to now take action as a result of it. It's another thing to now choose differently as a result of it. It's another thing to grow from it and not keep hearing the same stuff 5 years from now and still nodding your head and, nothing's changed. So you can let it like really land inside of you and be like, okay, wait a second. If it's up to me, then it's up to me. Like, I'm not the victim of life experiences. I don't have to paint the story of poor me. I can choose to see this as like, yeah, my life is up to me. I'm empowered. I'm in charge. Right? I can control the things that I can control, and the things I can't, I'm just going to let them go. It's okay. I'm going to let go and trust in this. Because I know you can think back in times in your life where you did, and suddenly everything clicked. Why? Because you stopped trying to control the goddamn everything. You still can be empowered in that, by the way. You kind of go, here's my role, and then I'm going to let it go, and the universe is taking the ball from here. I'm still taking action. I'm not just hoping and praying. Like I'm literally starting to move and do small things in the direction of what I'm trying to create or what I desire in my life, but I'm also open to whatever needs to unfold and happen. And when things come up in a different light, I don't suddenly go, oh wait, that's not the plan. So being open to getting out of the way, listening inside of yourself, and knowing that you are co-creating your life. Okay, so this is the one path you can take in this realization is like, man, it is up to me, and that's fucking awesome. Like, I'm not a victim, man. I'm a co-creator in my life. How exciting is that, right? Like, woo, yes. Or you can go down the path of, oh my God, I screwed everything up. I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have done that. I'm such an idiot. By the way, universe, delete all these because I am is a powerful statement. Be careful what you put after it. Be mindful of that. So you could say, I am, and fill in the blank of all these negative things about yourself, and just to put yourself deeper into the hole that you currently reside in. So it's not up to me to choose which one you're going to choose, and I don't judge you either way, and I've been both. So I get it, and it's not easy. But it's kind of like, these podcasts, I literally just saw this visual in my head. This podcast to me feels like, without me being a savior for you, I want these episodes. This is the same what I see, by the way, when I coach. So the Women Want More retreat experience is coming up in about 10 days. And I see this when I coach face to face. I see this when I create online courses. I see this inside the New More Club. I see this with women that I coach on the phone or in groups and virtually, and where it's literally just like, this is my hand reaching up to take your hand. And I'm not here to save you, but I'm here to support you. I'm here to it's like, take the hand, just have the visual of say somebody's, it's a funny one, but they're in a well, right? They're in a well and you're they're almost there, or they're trying, you're putting your hand down, just I got you, come on, let me just help pull you up, right? And then it's up to you from there. So take this hand, this virtual hand, my voice, right? That's reaching out to you right now. There's something in this for you to hear. I know that. And you can move from where you are. But flow is the way that we're supposed to be. And to me, when there's blockages to that, these are like signals and signposts and ding 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 ding, we're off right now. We're out of alignment. And that's okay too. It's all part of it. But we are designed to be in a state of flow. It's there for us if we choose it. Right? If we choose it. So here's your more tip for today. I want you just to write the word flow in a post-it note. I know I do this as a more tip often, but it's just a really simple, easy one, right? Just a reminder. I do this all the time with phrases or words. Just have this as your guidepost for the next 24 hours. And every single time that you notice you get to that place of like tension, like, put a small paper on your phone, have a couple different Post-it notes. If you got like a whiteboard, like write up on a whiteboard somewhere, like just write the word, just flow. Flow. That's it. And as that reminder of when you're feeling tension in your body, when you're feeling stress, when you're feeling yourself go to frustration, old stories, old patterns, that subconscious program, all that stuff, just like, just flow. It's just the reminder. Take a breath, take a step back. And step back into that flow as, I want to say the word as quickly, but I want to just say as easily, I guess. I want to say with ease. That is easily. As easily, as gracefully, as mindfully as you can. Yeah. So there you go. There's your more tip. Now, ending up then, I've mentioned this just a couple times in the podcast. This is brand new. It just launched on January 1st, called The More Club. And here's my intention with this. There's so many of you that reach out to me, and I know there's probably more of you that haven't, but it just, you've been listening to the podcast for a reason. You have maybe worked with me, maybe haven't in the past, through whether it's been online courses or live event or retreat experiences or one-on-one coaching, group coaching, and are just like, I need to have something else. The podcast is like, cool, Karen, but like, what are some more tools? And I like the more tips, they're awesome, but what are some more tools? What is more support? What is the community? What are some, tangible things that I can have the tools, the support, and the resources to continue this conversation, right? I'm almost calling it, just playing with language and just kind of seeing what all of you really attach to, but like the after party of the podcast. That's what the More Club is. And so what do you get inside the More Club? Well, you get bonus podcast episodes that are only in there. And here's the cool part of this. You get to actually choose them. And so I put out a voting poll on the More Club right now and just saying, hey, here's 5 topics I'm thinking of. Like, put your vote in. Okay, so you get to create your own personal podcast based on your needs. Like, amazing, right? There are powerful interviews with female leaders around the world. I interviewed my very dear friend, Jill Etier, who has an amazing podcast called Ninja Jill Knows. And we talked about how your energy matters. Like, it was friggin' awesome. I'm so excited with the women that have the access to that interview inside the More Club. I am doing a mindset skill training every single month. I'm giving shout outs to women on the podcast, notes of love and appreciation. Like, there's so much cool stuff that's inside the More Club. And here's the crazy thing. This is what your investment is. Okay. So all of you that have said to me, I'd love to go to the retreat. I've got a bunch of kids. I don't have the financial means. I can't get time away, kind of thing. Here's what your investment is. You're ready? You ready? $2, $5, or $10 a month. That's it. That's it. That's the tiers that are currently there. $2, $5, $10. So to go and check out the More Club and to join, you need to go to patreon.com/womenwantingmore. Okay, so that's spelled patreon.com/womenwantingmore. Patreon, patreon.com/womenwantingmore. And you'll see the different tiers. You can see whether you want to join under the Brene, the Ellen, or the Oprah. Those are the 3 tiers, the $2, $5, $10 a month, and the crazy cool benefits that you get. And the more that this grows, the more that I'll be able to provide inside the More Club. All right, sister. Thank you so much for listening today. Just know that a life of more really is one step away from like just being in flow as much as you can every single day. I love and appreciate you.
To get the show notes of each Women Wanting More episode, including the How to Get More tip, subscribe to the newsletter at drkarenosburn.com/newsletter.